81. Middle class believes it is wrong for a small group of people to possess most of the money. World class welcomes the masses to join them. The richest 20% of Americans own 85% of the country's wealth, and the middle class isn't happy about it. They see millionaires as greedy and selfish, as opposed to smart and ambitious. The number of new millionaires created in America each year is incredible, and the opportunity to become one of them is available to everyone. The world class has always welcomed the middle class to join them in the Millionaires Club, but few believe it's possible and even fewer attempt it. Many people believe in the philosophy of sharing the wealth, as if acquiring money was a gift to the rich and they should share their good fortune equally. Instead of waiting for this to happen, the great ones go to work looking for a problem to solve for a segment of society. This mindset is responsible for America's track record of ingenuity and innovation. People don't track their brains' problem solving to move society forward, they do it to move themselves forward, and as a direct result, all of us benefit. Remove or reduce the financial incentive driving these people and they will find a new place to sell their ideas. In a capitalistic society, a small group of people will always own the majority of the wealth, not because the masses lack opportunity, but because fear will stop them from taking advantage of it. It's easier to criticize the wealthy and condemn them as insatiably greedy and heartless than it is to make your own millions. The purpose of this book is not to change these facts, because the masses as a whole will never change. The purpose of this book is to make sure you end up on the right side of the equation. Important tips. Money is a symbol of duty. It is the sacrament of having done for mankind that mankind wanted. By Samuel Butler. Rich Resource. The Great Reflation, How Investors Can Profit from the New World of Money by J. Anthony Boke. Critical thinking question. Do you believe the government should take money from the rich to support the poor? Action step. Read, or listen to one CD, Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. This book is a fictional cautionary tale of what would happen if the most ambitious, innovative thinkers were no longer rewarded for using their minds to help advance society. 82. Middle class believes wealth creates dysfunctional families. World class believes unearned wealth creates dysfunctional families. Money has a bad reputation with people who don't have it, mostly because they don't understand what its limits are. Money has been blamed for everything from wars to infidelity, from destroying friendships to wrecking families. At the first sign of trouble, where money is an element in the equation, it usually takes the fall. Many heads of families avoid money for fear it will create more problems than it solves. For hundreds of years, millions of women have stayed married to abusive men and remained in unhappy marriages because they didn't have access to their own money. Wealth is the great liberator. It helps families live dreams. While the masses believe money corrupts, the world class knows money and the freedom it brings just makes people more of who they already are. Dysfunctional families were dysfunctional before money entered the scene. It's just that money magnifies whatever it touches. Good people become even nicer without financial concerns burdening them. Bad people get worse because of the power and access money gives them. The biggest problem with money and families is when unearned wealth is given to children by well-meaning parents. Again, money isn't the problem, but it becomes the catalyst for bad behavior and unhappiness when given to a child who neither understands its purpose nor respects its power. This is why so many millionaires refuse to make their children wealthy, and instead choose to donate the bulk of their fortunes to charitable causes. Unearned wealth has ruined the lives of many rich kids who never had to find a way to make it on their own. But, while the masses use this as another excuse for not getting wealthy, the world class builds their fortune and carefully navigates these hazards with caution. Important tips. Money is neither my god nor my devil. It is a form of energy that tends to make us more of who we already are, whether it's greedy or loving. By Dan Millman. Rich Resource, More Money Than God, Hedge Funds and the Making of a New Elite by Sebastian Mallaby. Critical thinking question. Do you believe leaving millions of dollars to your children would help or hurt them? Action step: if you have a family, have a meeting and talk about money. Discuss the benefits as well as the limits of being rich. Teach your kids the differences in thinking between the middle class and world class before others of influence saddle them with a mind full of limiting beliefs that will keep them broke for life. 83. Middle class believes money creates corruption. World class believes a lack of money creates corruption. Money has been blamed for almost every act of corruption in history. From bribery to drug trafficking, money always seems to be cited as the culprit. The fact is, money is just a medium of exchange and cannot be blamed for the failures of humankind and their ethics or value systems. Money might lead people to corrupt behavior, but money is not the cause of corruption. Fear and a belief system rooted in scarcity, lack, and limitation is the cause of corruption. Critical thinking points to people for corruption rather than what motivates them to take a corrupt action. When a married couple gets divorced, do you blame the two parties involved or the institution of marriage? The bottom line is money is the favorite whipping boy of the masses because deep down they are infuriated that they don't have any. In the minds of the masses, the more ways they can demonize money, the more validated they feel for not seeking their own fortune. After all, if money is the root of all evil, why would I want to have so much of it? It's another excuse people make to themselves and others for lacking the courage to stake their claim. If they converted the mental energy they spend demonizing it into acquiring it, they would be millionaires. But they don't, and most never will. Only a small percentage of the population will ever make this kind of change in thinking, and that's why the rich will always be a small segment of society. Critical thinking leads us to conclude that it's not money that causes corruption, but the lack of money. A person whose stomach is full isn't remotely interested in joining the buffet line, and a millionaire who knows how to create more money at will isn't interested in robbing a bank. The masses demonizing wealth is more about making money look bad than it is about logic. The worse reputation money gets, the better they feel about not having it. As my friend Brian Tracy says, this is not for you. Important tips. He is a wise man who seeks by every legitimate means to make all the money he can honestly, for money can do so many worthwhile things in this world, not merely for one's self but for others. But he is an unmitigated fool who imagines for a moment that it is more important to make the money than to make it honestly. One of the advantages of possessing money is that it facilitates one's independence and mental attitude. The man head over heels in debt is more slave than independent. By B.C. Forbes. Rich resource. All the money in the world, how the Forbes 400 make and spend their fortunes. Vintage. By Peter W. Bernstein and N. Alan Swan. Critical thinking question. Are still holding on to any beliefs that link being rich to corruption? Action step: do some research on what the world's wealthiest people are doing with their money. Do a Google search on Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and that will get you off to a good start. 84. Middle class believes the rich are spiritually bankrupt. World class believes the rich are among the most spiritual people in society. One of the most destructive beliefs I've encountered in over 2.5 decades of research is one that says it's noble to be poor and wrong to be rich. The masses have been so badly brainwashed about money for so many years it's a miracle they have any at all. The amazing thing is when one of them breaks through, gets rich, and doesn't feel guilty about it. I've heard more stories in my interviews about Mother Teresa serving people in the streets of Calcutta. While this is true, what's not widely publicized is that Mother Teresa was one of the most powerful leaders in the world with access to limitless wealth. That doesn't make her any less of a hero, but to pretend she was without substantial resources is naive. I've interviewed hundreds of millionaires throughout the world, and I've met thousands of them, and they are some of the most spiritual people on earth. Some are believers and followers of organized religion, and others believe in everything from a higher power to a universal energy. Outside the millionaires who followed organized religion, they were not overly concerned about whether God was a man, a force of nature, or another ethereal entity. Their focus is having faith in the wisdom and power the entity possesses to help them live a richer, more fulfilling, happy life. These people are easy to identify, because while their spirituality is important, they are open-minded and never feel the need to convert you to their beliefs. By this point in the book, this should make sense. The rich operate from an abundance mentality, always moving toward what they want while feeling gratitude for what they have. Is it any wonder they're so happy? They've learned how to use their minds to get rich and be fulfilled at the same time. The good news is, we can all do the same thing if we learn to think like they do. Important tips. It's good to have money and the things that money can buy, but it's good, too, to check up once in a while and make sure that you haven't lost the things that money can't buy. By George Horace Lorimer. Rich Resource. Why are we so clueless about the stock market? Learn how to invest your money, how to pick stocks, and how to make money in the stock market by Marius Skonieczny. Critical thinking question. Do you think it is possible to be a rich and spiritual person at the same time? Action step. If you are a person with strong spiritual beliefs, and you have children, hold a family discussion about how being rich ties in with your beliefs to insulate them from well-meaning yet middle-class thinking religious leaders. 85. Middle class believes if they become wealthy they will lose their friends. World class believes being wealthy will expand their network. Another common belief that keeps people from getting rich is the idea that they'll lose their best friends if they move into the biggest house on the block. After all, this belief assumes, what good is all the money in the world if you have no friends? Good point. I've just never seen it happen. And I've seen many people move from middle class to millionaire, including myself. Will you lose a few friends due to jealousy and envy? Maybe. But a better question is, were they really your friends in the first place? I'm sure you have friends you've known for years, and you could care less about how much money they have. The truth is, you gain far more friends than you lose when you get wealthy, and I'm not talking about people who befriend you because you're rich. You'll always have a few of those, and some are pretty good at hiding it. What I'm talking about is how having money opens up the world to you. You'll have the time and resources to travel anywhere you wish, meet almost anyone you want, and gain access to the inner circle of some of the most successful, interesting people in the world. In 2 years I went from being broke to serving on a national committee with the President of the United States. Other committee members included Hollywood celebrities, foreign leaders, and Fortune 500 presidents. The rich get these incredible opportunities because smart organizers know that rich people have rich friends who can pay $10,000 a plate for a charity dinner or fork over $500,000 at an art auction fundraiser. The middle class calls this manipulation. The world class calls it good business. The benefit is making new friends sitting at that dinner table or art auction that you may have for the rest of your life. These are friends who think big and know how to win. They are also some of the nicest, most charitable people I've ever met. The average person knows about 250 people. The rich know thousands. Some know tens of thousands. Others are known by millions. Wealth will bring you more opportunity to make friends than anything else in the world. It's the gateway to meeting more people in a month than most meet in a year. And the more people you meet, the more friends you will have. Important tips. Go into the street, and give man a lecture on morality, and another a shilling, and see which will respect you most. By Samuel Johnson. Rich Resource, Private Wealth Management, the complete reference for the personal financial plan of I.G. Victor Hallman and Jerry Rosenblum. Critical thinking question. Are you afraid you will lose your friends when you get rich? Action step. Take a moment to imagine what your life would be like with 10,000 friends and contacts in your database. How about 100,000? Thank you for listening. Tomorrow next 5 differences I will share with you from book How Rich People Think by Steve Siebold. So subscribe my channel Purulento Phantomoth and press bell icon for to get notify as soon as my next video uploaded.